Episode 60.
Yeah, John, we're back.
Swim with a fucking whopper swim.
Yeah, absolutely.
What do you think of that?
Definitely cured the hangover. Got rid of the pain from the week anyway.
Yeah.
I'll be doing it more often, I think. I'm going to try and make it a weekly thing, definitely. Maybe even bi-weekly.
Me, I was like smothering with hay fever. Went in there, just under, breathing a bit of salt air, and I fucking feel clear, brand new again, you know?
Yeah.
It's fucking,
that's it. Natural therapy is always the way, isn't it?
Yeah, it is nice, you know?
Yeah.
So Denis is a jiu-jitsu practitioner, going down the MMA route. Does a bit of Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
Bit of Muay Thai down in DCA with Collie and Craig. So, how's training going?
It's tough. Just trying to find an MMA fight now. Kind of in talks about one now. Nothing fully confirmed yet, but I'm basically in camp now. I've been in camp since like December, you know, basically, but just trying to stay ready. But now I'm like actually 7-8 weeks out from when I should be fighting, so I'm
is that Clan Wars? Or
no,
what?
it's, I think it should be Cage Conflict.
Okay.
Like I said, nothing's fully announced.
Okay,
Like
so.
that, but
Where is that?
I think it's in Belfast.
Okay.
Up north. Yeah. So be a bit of crack doing that and stuff, and be good to finally get a fight. You know, so obviously you've heard of the situations I've been in, trying to get fights with people and whatnot. You know, but just training hard now and putting the graft in. Doing my bits of recovery now as well. And to see.
And East Coast will be opening back again 5th of July, is it?
Yeah, 5th of July they'll be opening back up. I'm still doing a bit of grappling and stuff like that with the lads, you know. But
Good stuff. And how did you survive the plague? what did you do?
Like to be honest, like I didn't really stop. Like I stopped last year for a couple months, you know, when we all fell for it and fed into it, and since the second lockdown came, I haven't really cared. I just kept doing my own thing, kept training with whoever's willing to train, kept doing whatever I was going to do, obviously bar going out, which is fine, you know what I mean, by me, but like just still grinding and stuff, and I feel like now's the best time especially to improve your game if you're in a sport, because a lot of people don't have the motivation, or they don't have the access to a gym where they can actually still train. So even if they are doing a bit of training, it's not going to be as good a quality training as they probably would have wanted to do, you know? Yeah. So I feel like now is the best time to close gaps or widen gaps between yourself and your competitors. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. It's. I think it also falls down to the mindset of the person. Some people will they'll find a way.
Yeah, they'll find a way.
And that's the difference between them and everyone else.
Mm-hmm.
They're like, whatever. I'm just training.
Yeah.
They're not. Like I'm always surprised when I see people going in and out of camps. You know, that's just me looking on. It's like, if you're all in on this, you just train. Like the boys do train. Like if they fight on Saturday night, they're training Monday.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's what I meant about like basically I've been in camp since January. If you're an amateur fighter, you shouldn't be saying I'm in camp. I think Michael Bisping said this perfectly. He said, like, amateur fighters now saying, I'm doing me camp for my fight. It's like, you should just be training. You should be training and fighting whenever you can. Do you know what I mean? Like, it shouldn't matter. It should be about getting experience and building your skills up. Do you know what I mean? Like I said, I've been in camp since January. I've been just training hard. Do you know what I mean? And just, if a fight gets offered to me on any given weekend on a Wednesday, I'm ready to take the fight. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm ready to fight whichever weekend. So I feel like when you start getting into the UFC rankings, then it's high level then, and the margin of skill level difference is so small that 1% could make that difference. I feel that's when it matters. But when you're an amateur, you should just be fighting, you know, and training. Simple. But as you said, like it's the people that want to do it.
Oh, you cunt! Oh, you cunt! What the shit to me? What the fuck?
Yeah.
Oh man, I have it in the right way. Fucking thing needs a bit of Viagra. Let's go in this thing. There you go. Sorry about that, folks.
No, don't worry.
It's gonna do that again.
Probably. Did you wedge it or something?
Yeah. Fucking professional organisations here. No fucking messing. But now you should, for me, if you're an athlete, you should be ready to go whatever sport you're in, all the time, always trained, you know. Yeah,
and look, I mean, we give out about, well, I give out about footballers and what pansies they are, you know. But at the end of the day, like, they are going out there training every day and then getting in there every weekend, and sometimes midweek as well, and playing a football match. You know what I mean?
No, 100%.
So. Yeah.
You can't. What the fuck is wrong with that fucking thing? Fuck the gimbal.
Is it charged? You like the charger in?
Fucking Tommy Cooper, a podcast.
But yeah, no, as you say, you know, you should be ready to go at a moment's notice, you know, especially at amateur. You know what I mean? Like, look, even at pro, like a lot of the guys, you know, like that's the guys Dana wants. He wants the guy that if he gives you a shout on a Monday and goes, "Here, someone's after pulling out this title fight. We need someone to fill in last minute. Can you make way for this?" He wants a guy that's like, "Yes, I can. I'll do that for you." Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So. Yeah, I feel like it's just putting the work in, you know. But, yeah.
And what aspects of your game, what aspects do you feel you need to work on?
I mean, at the moment, obviously, as you say, I've been working a lot on the striking. Yeah. The last while, since lockdown, basically. I feel like my striking's kind of catching up to me grappling now. So I'm starting to get a bit more comfortable. I'd say wrestling's probably the thing that I need to start adding into my training the most, you know. So obviously I started coming down to Sergey's a bit, and going out to different gyms to get my bits of wrestling, you know. And then doing my bits with Shem as well. Shem's obviously got a lot of knowledge in terms of cage wrestling and stuff like that, you know. So.
MMA grappling.
Exactly.
Walking.
Yeah.
Now he's lucky to have him down there.
100%, yeah.
He's experienced.
Very, yeah. And he picked a bad time to come to Ireland as well, you know what I mean? Like, I always say to him, I would have just stayed if I was here for a couple of years longer. But,
we've probably had the worst of it in Europe, really, compared to, like, every other European country is flat to the mat training, and we're still worried about a cold. In this country. And
I don't know. You know what it was? You know what? Because I said, I fell for it at the start. I was on the mask. But remember, we both did complete 180s because it was like at the start I was like, we need to do it for the safety of the older people and all this kind of crack. After I got it and tested positive for it, maybe it's a bit selfish that I thought that way, but I was like, I didn't get any symptoms off that. I think this is a load of bollocks. You know, and maybe, as I said, maybe it is a bit selfish because people turned around and said, well, I know someone who's died from it. And I'm like, well, I know people that have died of cancer. Does that mean you should stop smoking? Do you know what I mean? Like, but I don't know. It is what it is, you know, with people. And as you said, people will always find a way, and whether that's find a way to still keep training or find a way to get out of training. Do you know what I mean? Sure, the gyms are all closed now. I have an excuse now to be a lazy cunt. I have an excuse now to just sit on Netflix all day. I have an excuse now to take the government's money and fucking sit in my hall.
There's a pandemic.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And look, it's the same people that are all, stay inside, obey the lockdown. It's like, those are the people that didn't have a life to begin with.
No.
Do you know what I mean? They were happy to just go to work, go home, watch Netflix, eat dinner, go to bed, even get takeaway and go to bed every day. And now they can just do that from the comfort of their home all day. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it suits them. But I don't know. It's I just don't think it's if you said this to us 3-4 years ago, that like the government's just going to shut people down, make them stay in their houses, and the guards can just come up to you and go, "What are you doing here on the public street? Go home." You'd say, "No, that's tyranny. You can't do that. That's, you know, there needs to be democratic process behind that." But from the looks of it, it's just like, you know, emergency powers get thrown in there. And
I think I've learned more in the past 15 months than I have in the previous 45 years.
Really, yeah? About what?
Human psychology, human nature. I really do. I never realised how easily people could be manipulated and controlled. I never realised. And then throw social media into the mix. Like, a friend of mine was arrested. We were swimming down there, and it's what happens when that happens is, oh, he was out of his 5k. It's like, are you for fucking real? Are you for fucking real? It's I need to prove that I'm right on the internet, so I'm going to furnish these few details. But you know, when you're trying to furnish any scientific details or whatever, you'll have 10 people for and 10 people against.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't do it.
Yeah, yeah.
But human logic has been abandoned. You know what I mean?
It's been replaced by Big Daddy. That's what I always say, you know? It's like people want... It's the same in China, you know? Where they're so coddled by the government. Yeah. And so, the government looks after everything. The government will do everything. It's grand. We don't need to think about what's going on. The government are doing that for us. Do you know what I mean? The deeper you get into that, the more you get into 1984 doublethink. And like you said, you know, I was talking to someone yesterday about it as well. The fact that they don't even really need to police these things. You're going to the gym to training, and you're trying to go to training, and it's the cunts on the roads ringing the guards. Exactly, you know. They have the people policing themselves because they have the majority of the people scared, and that's what it is. It's just fear. Do you know what I mean? And like you said, with human psychology, logic gets abandoned when you're scared. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
It's your fault.
Yeah, but even in something like that, we can both relate it to, like jiu-jitsu. If you're scared against a guy in jiu-jitsu, or you're scared of a position, the minute you go there, you're gonna panic, and your logic in that situation will be abandoned. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So I just feel like governments have been doing that for hundreds of thousands of years, and they'll continue to do that and just use more advanced methods now. It's coronavirus, you know what I mean? It's not the invading peoples from that side of the border or whatever, you know?
And come here, coronavirus is a thing. If you're in your 80s, or if you've multiple... I was reading a study that came out of the UK. 9 out of every 10 people that died in the first 4 months were morbidly obese. Okay? Stick age into that, so it was 3 or more comorbidities. So really, we've locked up. You know, we're out the other side of it kind of at the moment, but if you're in your 30s, or if you're thinking about getting children vaccinated, this is my opinion, vaccinate who you want. Children at the moment, I was reading a statistic from Ireland, so your child from getting badly sick from coronavirus has a 1 in 1 million chance, whereas the cause of vaccine injury is 1 in 200,000. I just play risks. If I'm going into legs with you and you're really good at legs, you know what? I'm not going to enter into legs.
Exactly.
I play the risk game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's so that's all I need to know. No, I'm not getting my kids vaccinated against a flu, against a bad cold. Yeah. That's what it is. Flu.
And look, I'm quite a risk-taking person. I'm not very risk-averse.
Males are. Males are.
I mean, I'm a fire performer and I'm a martial artist. You know what I mean? I'm not exactly someone that exudes care for my personal being. But you have to think of it like this. I'm thinking of it in the sense that I want to have kids one day. Yeah. You know, not soon, but I want to have kids one day. And I don't want it to be a case where, I get this vaccination, and then 10 years down the line, I'm trying to have a kid, and they're like, "Oh no, you can't. You're sterile." Yeah. And maybe I've always been sterile, but I can't know that. Do you know what I mean? Because unless you've already had a kid, get a vaccination, and then afterwards they're like, you're sterile, then you know, like, okay, you could correlate the two. But if you've never had a kid, or you're a child going to get this vaccination, and then you can never have kids, do you know?
Which is experimental. It's still at the experimental stage, you know?
Look, I mean, I'm not going to go too deep into the conspiratorial side of things, but in the past, governments have done things with vaccinations, specifically in the black community in America, with syphilis, where they deliberately injected them with syphilis, killed a load of people, and then they just apologise afterwards, because it's easier for them to do something, apologise afterwards, and a year down the line after a few things happens with Kim K on the news and this and that, and people forget. Do you know what I mean?
No,
than it is for them to come out and be like, we're looking to do experiments on you guys. Can we vaccinate you with it? You know what I mean? Like, they'll give us some reason to go around it. Yeah. And as you said, look, I'm not anti-vax.
No, you don't.
You know what I mean? I'm not.
I don't get a flu shot. This is a flu.
I've never got a flu shot in my life.
This is
never
a flu. Yeah, it's killing really sick older people with comorbidities, but it's killing people at the rate of a flu. Not even a bad flu, a flu.
And keep in mind, like you said, people that are morbidly obese are the most at risk. Okay.
Yes.
If that's the case, should we not be opening the gyms? Should we not be shutting down the likes of McDonald's that's been open the whole time? Do you know what I mean? Like, they have no problem telling you what's good for your health until it's preventative measures. It's always it's never preventative. It's always, oh, well, now you're sick, this is what you have to do after you're sick. You know what I mean? It's not, oh, don't eat shite food. Do you know what I mean? It's not go to the gym and stay in touch, stay in shape, so if you get coronavirus, you won't exude any symptoms, or you won't get the worst of it. Do you know what I mean? But look, it is what it is.
And even the you're anti. It's like, I get this thrown at me. Oh, you're anti-lockdown. Yeah, I'm a bit funny about the police or whoever telling me I have to stay in my house because I'm healthy. Yeah, I'm anti that. Or anti-vax. No, I don't get a flu shot. If this was killing people, healthy people, left, right and centre, I'd be forced in the queue trying to, but it's not doing that. You know what I mean? So I'm not anti-vax. I just don't get a flu shot. I wouldn't get a shot for this.
Yeah.
Because it's equivalent to a flu.
I mean, look, like, people are saying about the older people, we need to protect the older people. My nanny's 87 years of age, and she's a hard ass, like, Yugoslavian woman, like, lives on a farm, and she's been begging me to come over and see her, and I'm like, I can't come over, like, coronavirus. She's like, I don't care, I'm waiting to die anyway. That's what she said to me. She said, I'm waiting to die anyway, I'm old. You know, like, people die when they're old, Dennis. Do you know what I mean? And I'm like, that point, her saying that to me was like such a big point, because I was like, there's 35-year-olds going around worried about this virus, and an 87-year-old woman is going, do you know what I mean? I'm like,
Matt, you see what you said about sterilisation, and you don't know. I'm looking at dudes driving in cars with their kids in the back, and they've masks on. Or I'm looking at dudes walking to the school in the fresh air. Like, I'm talking 30-year-old down to 20, and I'm like, looking at them going, if there was ever a case of sterilisation, I'm looking at it, these fucking beta males just going, lads, like, here we are now, like, calm the fuck down. Cunts walking around with fucking masks on outside. It's like, grow a pair, you fucking pussy.
And you know, this is what I'm saying.
Outside, fresh air, beach,
I've been training with people. Obviously, like, we can't be too... but I've been training with people since January. And not really been very careful. I've not really been very careful in my general life, to be honest. Like, I've been going out, meeting birds and this and that. And I've not... No one I know has gotten COVID from that. Like, and I'm like... And this is supposedly this big thing that everyone's getting this and people are dying and dropping dead from it. I'm like, where's all these, like, anecdotal... You know, because you say, oh, well, you can't use anecdotal evidence. But it's like, at some point you need to. Like, if this is such a big thing, surely you would have had at least 5 or 6 people around you that have been heavily affected by this. Yeah. I don't know. Do you know?
I don't know. I don't know one. Not one. And but I know some amount of people. I've got some amount of people on the podcast. I know people from all different communities. I don't know one. Not one.
But you know what? I do know people that have gotten the vaccine, or even been around people who got the vaccine, who have shown serious changes in their menstrual cycles, women particularly. And like, people can go and look this up if they want, but even like some of the AstraZeneca stuff that's coming out, they're saying there's just blood clots coming out, women having crazy menstrual cycles, and this is what I mean, that I feel like it's an attempt to sterilize a certain percentage of the population, whereby I think that the governments are looking at it like, look, there was 2 billion people on the planet 100 years ago when my nanny was born, right? And now there's 7. And it's progressively getting more. So in 50 years, there's going to be like 18 billion people, and most of them are poor people, because, you know, that's just the way things go. So I think that this is an attempt to kind of stop it, you know. But I'd lean quite on the conspiratorial side of things anyway, in terms of just the media. And
my parents both got the vaccine. They were fine. Not a high temperature, not anything. They just ate up the vaccine, not a bother. They got it, grand. Want to get a vaccine, knock yourself out. Another friend of mine who sea swims with me down here, he's been doing ayahuasca in South America, and he just fucking got all worried about his man, his dad, and he was getting a vaccine. I was talking to him yesterday. He's been sick for 10 days. He's like, I'm not getting a fucking second one. He's been sick for 10 days. I know another guy that trains in the gym, and he just got it into his head about travelling and stuff. He got it. He was also saying, I'm so fucking sick, I'm not getting the second one. So it affects then early people I know, one person in particular that got it in America. She had to go back into the emergency room because her heart rate just wouldn't come down. So there are 3 people I know. I do not know 3 people like that, but I'm not anti-vax. I'm pro-choice, full body autonomy. If you want to do a line of heroin or cocaine off that wall over there, fucking knock yourself out. I don't care. It's down to you.
That is where I have to. Yeah, that's where I have to get onto that side of things as well, where something that grows naturally, that people use to alleviate their mental strife and their stress, can be said, no, that's illegal. You can't do that, even though it's never killed anyone, even though it's never, you know, but yet they're giving out vaccines that are causing heart clots, that are causing people to be sick, and they're saying this is what's good for you. Do you know what I mean? And as I said, I'm not anti-vax. I don't think everyone should be smoking cannabis, but when there's a freedom of choice, it means that you should be able to, as you said, like, if someone wants to go do heroin, that's their problem. I don't think if heroin was legal overnight that everyone would just go, oh well, let's go do heroin now. Do you know what I mean? Like, because people are smart enough about their own personal health, you know. But yeah, it's when people are trying to enforce it. Like, I know a girl that's trying to get placement basically from college. I think she's trying to study to be a carer, and she can't finish her placement because she doesn't want to get the vaccine. Out of point, she's like, I don't want to get the vaccine. I don't need it. I don't want to get it. So now they're like, well, you can't finish your placement, you can't finish your college course. Yeah. And it's like, do you know what I mean? You're pressuring people like that into getting a vaccine, and it's, I don't know, it's a bit mad, do you know?
Yeah, and I'm seeing these people coming out online, and you're kind of looking at them. I have an open mind, and I'm full body autonomy, but if these other people, like, about your woman that wouldn't wear a mask, whatever, she didn't want to wear a mask, and she got arrested, and I see people celebrating it. And then people that work in the healthcare industry that don't want to get a vaccine and their jobs being threatened, and people celebrating it. It's like, lads, like, that says more about you than them. 100%. It's like a bit of fucking live and let live there. You know what I mean? Yeah. You want to get a vaccine? Me parents get a vaccine. And you know what? We're still great. We're still fucking... They think I'm weird not getting one. That's cool. Whatever. Like, I don't... I think with the advent of the internet, everyone wants to be right. And it's like, I'm right.
Everyone's an expert.
It's like, when am I going to start getting me knob out and go, yeah, STI clean today, just got me syphilis jab. You know what I mean? Who's going to do that? You know, just got rid of herpes today, look, there's me shot. Like, who's going to do that? It's like, if you're posting photographs of you getting vaccinated online, that's what you're doing. It's like, got the herpes shot today, clear.
Yeah, see
this, like, boy's ready to rock and roll.
And see, even the whole thing of, like, people, like you said, women get not wearing masks in places. Like, I have a medical exemption. Show it to me. Like, who are you? Like, I don't have to show you anything, mate. Do you know what I mean? Like, and even if I don't have a medical exemption, it's not your business. Do you know? Yeah. And as you said, with the advent of the internet, I think like everyone now has become like an expert on every matter that comes out there, whether it's political, whether it's societal, whether it's scientific. Everyone goes and does their own research, and then they think they know what's right. Now, the problem is that when you're trying to go do any research now in relation to COVID or a vaccine that has anything against what the official narrative that they're pushing is, it's blocked, it's censored.
Via Google, it's censored.
By YouTube, by Instagram, all these places. And I can go out there and bleeding, I don't know, I can have mad opinions like, I don't know, foreigners should all be sent home. So you can go out there and talk about that openly.
Yeah.
But I can't say we should look into maybe whether this vaccine's causing menstrual problems for women. That gets blocked out. Do you know what I mean? And that's where I start to be scared, because why are you so fearful of this? Why are you trying to block any sort of information that's going against the narrative? Do you know what I mean? But only in this specific niche topic.
I shared a video last week. It was of the San Francisco gay chorus, and they wrote a song and performed a song on TikTok of vaccinate. That was the name of it. Vaccinate, vaccinate, and they're all singing, right? Now, here's the thing, and everyone's like, if you're, let's do this and the whole lot. If we try and get a group of us to sing here,
don't vaccinate,
don't vaccinate. Do you know what's happening?
Shut down.
Disabled, gone. See you later.
For real COVID information, visit HSC. It's mad. You know what I mean? It's like,
but we don't live. We've our freedoms, and people go, oh yeah, if you want to see freedoms, go to
North Korea.
Communists, go to. Nah, mate, you're missing the point.
Yeah. Well, it's better here than it is in fucking the Congo or North Korea, but that doesn't mean it couldn't be better. Do you know what I mean? Like, that doesn't mean that it's perfect. So I don't know. It's everything's so subjective. But even in relation to this, like you said, like in Ireland and in Europe, we got the worst of it. Most of these other third world countries, like the likes of Ghana, Nigeria, Thailand, Brazil, like, they couldn't even have lockdowns, because people, like, here, it's like, you get your little 1,400 a month, PUP. In Brazil, they're going, you're not getting shit. It's like, if you don't go to work, you're not eating today. So people were like, well, we're just not obeying the lockdown. And then governments were like, we actually can't keep people locked down, because they need to go to work. So I just feel like in Ireland we have it so cushy that people were able to, like I said, the same people that just want to go to work, come home, whack on Netflix, whack on the PlayStation, and do nothing, and that it kind of suits them now. Do you know what I mean?
And the media, and like I know plenty of people out there that have to wear masks in work and have to go through the rigmarole, and they're keeping their ideas and their thoughts to themselves because they have families and they provide money. That's cool, but then, like, the freedom of speech aspect has been it's completely one-sided. Like, when did it get to this that you're either with me or against me? You know what I mean?
I think as you said, it is the advent of social media, right? Whereby everything's become so polarized, left and right. Liberal or conservative, and
you're a bad person if you don't do this.
If you don't agree with me, basically. If you don't agree with now, I'd consider myself very much on the left in terms of my economic thoughts on what we should be doing. I think, everyone should have a house, free education, free healthcare. That's quite socialist in terms of. But I think
I don't see anything wrong with that.
The country was founded by socialists. That's the way that I think that we should run the country. There's enough money to go around to do that, if there wasn't so much corruption.
But we can pull 140 billion out of our hole for this scandemic.
Yeah. So why can't everyone have a free house and free education and free healthcare? But going back to like this whole like people say, oh, you're on the left, so therefore you must believe in all these fucking 28 genders and you must believe in this and that. But I'm like, if you look at a place like America where it's the most extreme version of left and right politics, right? The people on the right all sort of agree on the same things, and the people on the left, you'll have, a Muslim fella who hates gays, you'll have a gay fella who hates cannabis, you'll have a cannabis smoker who hates gays and Muslims, and they're all on the left. Do you know what I mean? Because like, and you're going, okay, you guys actually can't even agree on the same things as a whole. At least these guys on the right, that's how Trump got in, is because they all just they all know what they want. You guys don't know what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is why I always say, like, I feel like economically, in terms of my economic thoughts, I'm on the left because I believe in socialist principles.
Yeah.
But a lot of my opinions have started moving more to the conservative side of things in terms of
I'm centre left, but I can go.
It depends on the topic. It depends on the topic, doesn't
100%.
it? And this is why I think our problem in democratic countries is that we have these two-party systems whereby people get divided and polarized, and then you form like a tribal bond with who you've been voting for, you know.
Yeah.
And like as you say, logic goes out the window then. You know what I mean? Because you're like this is my team basically, you know. Even if like one of the guys in the party I voted for turns out to be an absolute scumbag, I'm like, you'll find a way to defend it. Do you know what I mean? You'll find a way to defend it for yourself, because you won't be able to bring yourself to admit that you voted for this guy.
Yeah.
Do you know?
Yeah. And then the media has a huge part to play in this clickbaiting. I saw some people shared some stuff, right? The guards, it produced a half story about your phone, so you had to give them the PIN and the password and the whole lot. So I read the Daily Star, and then I read the Independent, and I read the full article, but you had to bury down the very end to find that they needed a warrant for this.
I saw
everyone's like going, "Oh my
they're not
God,
looking through my phone."
My God. And it's this outrage. It's like, and Mr. Star is like, "Whopper, we're after going further on that. We sold so many data." So it's like, I've only noticed since I've removed myself from RTE. I've really removed myself the past 12 months. I don't listen to the news anymore. I don't really.
Would you have been a big news listener?
I would have before, and I just seen all this shite.
Yeah.
I think the crescendo of it was that fucking helmet on News Talk in a fucking plastic bubble. Luke O'Neill with fucking Claire, whoever in the middle, and the other fucking tosspot in the other bubble, the other side. I'm just like, here, fuckwits, I'm out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I just like switched off.
Do you know what? I realise how toxic social media can be. I deactivated my Facebook and all. In like January, after the whole Georgianchenko thing.
Yeah.
Because of just how toxic people get and how brave people get online.
Yeah.
And yeah, like you said, you know, the clickbaiting and this kind of thing. Like even
and
with
then the people talking about Georgianchenko, and I spoke to you about this, right? If you have a bloke in front of you and he's wielding a blade and you have a gun, I've shot a gun outside this country a couple of times, like, and you can't fucking blow his kneecap off or his leg off.
And
what the fuck?
Not just as
and that's
as
not everyone wants to be. He had a knife, and it's this internet. I'm right, you're wrong. You know, he had a knife.
And look, I mean, for me, it's like, it's not even like if I had a gun and some guy was attacking me with a knife. I'm not a trained copper. Yeah. I'm not paid to be there. Do you know what I mean? I'm not like, and there's 7-8 of them there, like 6 shots to the guy. I'm like, it was completely unnecessary. Someone needs to be held accountable for that, by the way. Yeah. Because like, I was only at a barbecue yesterday with a big portion of the black community in Dublin, and a lot of people were good friends with him. And even if you weren't friends with him, one of your friends was friends with him. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and did he have mental health issues?
He had he was going through a lot. He had mental health issues. All the stuff going around about the fact that he was a thug and this and that. He was an innocent young fella, like, you know.
And this is what happens about at the moment. I've noticed this, and it's like, look before you leap. There's all this, like the clickbait with the phone. It's like the story comes out, and it's like all this other stuff.
It's very easy to get a photo from something completely irrelevant and put, oh, look, this is what blah 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 blah, and it's very easy for someone reshare. Next thing, 20,000 people have seen that, and that's stuck in their mind. Then, you know what I mean?
And your government wants you to go, oh, let's ban this so we can ban misinformation. No, just have a fucking brain before you take something on board and believe it wholeheartedly before you even read and research into it. We don't need government to come in and go, oh no, this is what yous get, hate speech and all this other shit. We need more speech. We need good speech.
Exactly. Open dialogue. And I think this is one of the main principles of democracy that we've started losing, is when I vote for a government, like, I can't vote for a government and then they have absolute power. Like, they can't just decide, and now we're in power forever. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's still a process. Like, even with the lockdowns and stuff we're saying, it's completely undemocratic.
Yeah.
Like, for this long, you don't get emergency powers for 18 months. No. You get emergency powers for the 2 months, and then we start to have to look into it. I voted
for Lisbon, so free travel, free economy, free. We haven't had that.
Well, we voted twice.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
We didn't
get the right. Yeah. You know what I mean? But like, even, you know, and this is why I don't really believe in democracy. I personally believe that benevolent dictators are better than two parties that are trying to outdo each other, and it's only ever really why you're better than the other guy, not what you're bringing to the table, but like, Asher, he smoked cannabis in college, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of thing of make him look worse than I am because I'm a scumbag. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I just feel like the world's gone a bit topsy-turvy. Do you know what I mean? Like, and I'm only 26. I can't even imagine for yourself what it must feel like. Do you know what I mean?
It's like, mad. The past 15 months, I'm just like scratching my head, going, "What the fuck have we just like everything, illusions shattered, just everything. How weak-minded people are. How really they're just hanging on by a thread, and that's not critical or anything. It's just how it is. You know what I mean?
I think we're at the cusp of the fall of the Roman Empire. I think we hit like a peak with the advent of the internet and technology and everyone having all this connection, and it's like we've gotten to this point where we've too much information. Does that make sense? Like, you know, we've too much access to information now, where people don't feel like they need to learn anything off because it's just in your phone anyway. As you said, people become so polarized.
You can find whatever you want to back up your arguments.
Yeah, and you have echo chambers. So you go and Google something now. I go and Google Trump.
Yeah.
The results I get are based off, or anything like
your search
COVID.
history.
They're based off not only your search history, your location, where you've been. You know, oh, this person visits like I don't know, a radical left wing place. So probably your results are going to be based off hatred towards Trump. Do you know what I mean? And it's, you create these echo chambers where people get stuck in their opinions and they don't actually want to go out and talk to other people and have a dialogue and listen to the other person. Do you know what I mean? And like that's a big thing I feel like we've lost, is listening, because people just seem to want to have a debate now and they're literally just waiting for you to finish so they can go, oh, but my point is, you know, rather than going,
I'm not even listening to you, I'm just thinking about what I'm going to say.
Yeah. I'm only picking out bits of what you said that I can counter at, you know. And I've had this before with people where we're having a discussion, like quite deep.
It's hard to do that online.
Yes.
You need the face-to-face.
Yes.
I found that I used to kind of talk with people back and forth, and I've stopped doing it because it's so hard. And then if I send you something, the frame of mind you're reading it in, if I'm saying it to you, is different. You know what I mean?
And I mean, we've
expression.
We've had it, John. We've gotten into it, John, before online. You know,
we have,
where I feel like we agree on so much politically and stuff, but online, as you said, like I could have just had a fight with my missus and then read a message. Yeah. And I'm reading it in an angry voice in my head. Do you know what I mean? And I think, oh, why is he having it? You know what I mean?
100%.
Like, so, and yeah, we've lost so much, and especially now with lockdown and everything's remote, and you're even working remote, and you have no contact.
Isolation.
We're not meant to be like that. Do you know what I mean? We're meant to be a tribe, and to all work together. Do you know? I think even I don't know whether you saw the John Danaher podcast on Lex Friedman.
Yes.
Yeah, the big long one.
I really like
I think John talked about the fact that like martial art, the normal martial art for human beings is grappling, because when we were in a tribe and we had like 20 women, 20 men in the tribe, I couldn't afford, if me and one of the lads had a fight over who was the alpha, to punch his head in, kill him. Now we're a man down. Now my hand's broken. I can't fire an arrow. I'm dead. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, or even an infection, you get an infection, you're dead. You know, so I feel like even things like that show how tribe-based we are and how much we actually need other people, and we need to be in contact with other people and touching other people. Do you know what I mean? And now it's elbow and don't touch me. Everyone's so awkward now about like
I'm a hugger, but don't do that fucking elbow shit. You know,
man. You know, and
people gotta die. People gotta live. That's life. You know.
Here, listen. Even with all the people dying, even with all the diseases, all the fucking wars going on, all the genocides, all the murder, we are still increasing as a population. You know, and I think that people really got stuck up on how important they are. And how important their family is. Yeah. Like, your family and you don't really matter. Our species doesn't really matter in the grander scope of things. We're a pebble floating through space. Do you know what I mean? Like, if our planet got wiped out tomorrow, the universe would not blink. Do you know? And we're here worried about a fucking cough. Like, wasting years of your life and good years that you should be having. Do you know what I mean? We've had 2 whopper summers now. Last summer was whopper, one of the best summers we've ever had. So far this summer's been whopper as well. And people are just missing out on that. You know, young people especially just finished school last summer, you know, and then you're in a lockdown. Then the next year you're in a lockdown. They're going into 3rd year in college, and you haven't even been in college. You haven't had the college experience. You're just getting an education, but you're not going out and being in the real world. Do you know what I mean?
But I'm even noticing some people, any people I mix with, it's about focusing on the positive. I see people still, and you walk by them in the supermarket or whatever, and they're only short of like diving into the bleeding aisle away from you. It's like, but the people I mix with don't do that. You know what I mean? So you can kind of focus on the dudes driving around with their masks on in the cars alone or whatever, or you can see the 99% of other people that are just getting on with living their fucking lives. You know what I mean?
Just go on to South William Street today. I guarantee you'll see it there. You know what I mean? Like,
fuck the dude.
And at that point, like, I'm kind of going. That's what's pissed me off about it, though, because they're going out now and putting public toilets in town, putting bins all over town, tables all over. So you're acknowledging that people are gonna socialize anyway. So why aren't you just opening things? Because like, what difference is it? 2,000 people on a street all beside each other drinking, or 20 lads in a gym training with each other?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like what? I just it actually baffles me. But look, as I said, I fell for it last year, you know, and
I was worried about it and stuff, but I knew we were really the pinnacle for me was, and I said this on a previous podcast, I was overhearing this kind of morbidly obese person telling these 2 fucking savages that they were overtraining. And I'm just like, that's just summed up my 15 months. I just listen to people like this about health. And this person was like a microcosm of the past year. Because the amount of people doling out this health advice weren't necessarily, it's like, no, I'm not going to really do anything for my health. I'm waiting for this silver bullet. It's like, okay, well, I'm over here fucking doing me thing. You do what you want. That's what I found with it, you know. Bro, this person just summed it up, like, you know.
Listen, and those are the same people that turn around to you when you do well, at a competition, you do well in a fight, and they say, "Oh man, you know, you're so talented." It's like, no, I put the work in. Yeah. You weren't there when I was putting the work in. You just saw the end result. Yeah. So you think that it just happened overnight like that. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, man, look, there's a lot of people out there like that, and especially like, without getting too into the against the social justice warriors, but I feel like the more you're getting it in schools now, in like my sister's generations, of more and more people are starting to be like, oh well, I'm cisgender, I'm I want to be called Zeta, do you know what I mean, and all this kind of stuff. But I think it's because people are so disenfranchised, and everyone's a unique butterfly. So what makes me unique then? I have to either dress crazy, get my eyeballs tattooed, do you know what I mean? Or I have to be like 4 different genders at the same time, so that I'm, oh look, that's what's unique about me, do you know what I mean? And I don't know, I just feel like society's really gone, as you say, like I kind of tend to just associate myself with fighters and these kind of people anyway now, and athletes and people that are fucking have goals, do you know? But
and come here, if you want it, my opinion is full body autonomy. If you want to fucking change your name to fucking Harriet and wear 6-inch fucking platforms and walk down to the beach in full drag, Whop,
Yeah.
Whopper,
Yeah.
I'll call you whatever you want to be called. I'm fucking. Are you happy?
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that's it.
But I feel then sometimes with people like, no, I want you to use these pronouns for me.
No, you legally have to. That's when it starts getting into the
It's like,
craziness. Like.
I want to say, what happened you to this stage that something happened that made you kind of want to wield your dominance over someone with this instead of like, I want to say, I'm not that important. You're not that important. It's like, all right, whacker. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah,
You know, but whatever you want to do, full body autonomy, fucking knock
Yeah.
yourself out. But
Once you're-
don't be
once you're not-
seeking
Once
trouble
you're
from
not
people,
infringing on someone else's life, I think you should be able to do anything
Yeah.
that you want. Do you know what I mean? I'm a big believer in like that non-victimless crimes should be gotten rid of.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
like there's a lot of crimes that are out there that, like, there's no victim in the situation.
Yeah.
It's just like the government's just decided that this isn't, you can't do this.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think they should all be gotten rid of.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Yeah.
But yeah, as you say, it's just it's people wanting to kind of have an upper hand.
Yeah.
You know, and cancel culture and being
Yeah.
able to, you know what I mean, and
Yeah.
and being able to say he or
we've
she's
seen
more
that cancel
successful than me.
culture, myself and yourself have
Yeah.
seen that cancel culture being wielded, people really playing it, being really fucking smart with it, and you're going, oh, you cunt. I see what you're doing here. Or washed up fucking karaoke singers, fucking Jedward. Fucking, you know what I mean? Washed up, and they're like
stuff.
fucking virtue. It's like, oh, you cunts.
No one even cares about your opinion anyway. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean, like I don't know.
You know, it's like, fuck me. But come here, and then the hate speech. When I hear hate speech, I want to ask you about Gemma Doherty and John Waters. My opinions on them, and the hate speech thing. Hate speech is more control, and they're pushing this hate speech bill.
The
Like,
legislation.
if
yeah.
you write up there, like what was written outside Panty Bar, pedo bar, right, with an arrow going towards it, do you know what? You don't represent me, and you're an absolute fucking cunt. Whatever people want to do in there, that's their fucking space, whatever.
Yeah.
But this then being used, we need more laws around this. No, we don't.
No.
The person that sprayed it on the wall just needs his head fucking punched in.
As I
You
said,
know what
right,
I mean?
less government is what we need.
Yeah.
We don't need more governance on what you can say, because it's a very slippery slope to get them, like
Yeah.
I said, when it's like you legally need to call this person one of these 25 categories. Like, it's not just he or she anymore. There's 25, 30, and there's new ones all the time. So where do we get then, like, when you're controlling language, you know what I mean? When you're controlling what words someone can or can't say, it's a very dangerous slope, because that's how you get down the path of, you can't say that about the government. That's
Yeah,
hate
yeah.
speech.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you can't criticize
No.
vaccines. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. Before you know where you are, you're up on charges. And if you think that's bullshit, just look at the past 15 months.
Look at
You know what I
China.
mean?
Look
Yeah.
at China.
Yeah.
Do you know what they've had? They've had a mad. I've watched a documentary about. They have mad spates of stabbing attacks in China. Go look it up. It's crazy. It's like they've just been having random people just losing it and just going out and stabbing you, preferably kids and women, because they're easier targets.
Jesus
but it's a
Christ.
revenge on society attack.
Wow.
That is what they've called it. That phenomenon. And you know what that is? That's, like I said, the Chinese people being so coddled and not knowing how to deal with any sort of, like, they lose their job and they've no financial stability, and then they don't know how to deal with something like that, so they just lose it, you know. And you can't criticize, you can't go out, and at least we can go out, we're frustrated about COVID, we can get in here, get in a van, chat shit about it, give our opinions on it, because we're free to do that.
Yeah.
You do that in China, you go missing, do you know? So people have no outlet where they can go and express their anger, and that's 1.4 billion people. Do you know what I mean? So people just start losing it and go and stabby. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is what I was saying about, like, we need less government, because the more government control you have, the more people like me and you will become more and more disenfranchised, and people start going crazy. Do you know what I mean? Like,
And I wanted to ask you about Gemma Doherty and John Waters. And Gemma Doherty's what she speaks vile, don't agree with it. But I put up a poll there a while ago on my page, and it was a poll that the government came out with, that people who were convicted of some form of hate speech were not allowed to run for politics. And I was so fucking surprised for the amount of people that thought this was a good thing, and they were all young, and I'm just like going, oh my god.
Do you know what? That's always been something in the back of my head. You know, remember when the whole thing came out with like obviously Gemma Donaghy's a cunt, by the way.
Cunt. And
but
John Waters. But here I was thinking,
she should be allowed to say whatever she wants.
Yeah.
She should be allowed to, like.
And for people like me and you to go, she's a cunt.
Exactly.
Leave her over there, be a cunt.
Exactly.
Like one of them mad fuckers that used to rant and rave in your village. That's mad fucking whacker down there. Just fucking.
Here,
just
listen,
let him talk shite.
Lads can stand on O'Connell Street with a microphone and a big placard on it and being like, Jesus this, Jesus that, criticising people walking in the road. Why can he do that?
Yeah.
Like, he's talking mad shit. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay. I think what it is that people get scared when someone talks mad shit, but they say some things that make sense, and then some people start to agree with them because they're like, that's a dangerous opinion. What makes an opinion dangerous? Like, I can believe in an invisible man that judges everyone that walks around, and if you don't do what he says, you're going to burn in hell for eternity. That's crazy. But I can go out and say that as much as I want, and people do it daily, every Sunday. They're probably doing it right now. Do you know what I mean? But I can't go out and criticise, you know, COVID vaccines, what the government's doing with lockdown, even things like direct provision. Do you know what I mean? Like, and
that we lock people up for years and don't allow them work.
Don't let them work. Leave them in a fucking social limbo, basically. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know. It's just
isolate
wild,
them from their communities.
You know. And I don't know. With the hate speech legislation thing, I just think that, as I said, it's a dangerous slope to go down when you start legalizing or illegalizing words. Do you know what I mean? Like that, because we can just come up with a new word. You make it illegal to say this word. People are just going to find another word to use to describe that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So. And
then I look at her and John Waters. John Waters, really fucking smart,
I don't really know of John Waters.
He used to write in the Irish Times. Smart fucking guy. And there's part of me kind of going, this is so in your face. That are these cunts being paid to fucking talk this absolute craziness so people can come, you know what, we're going to, for your protection, we're going to ban this type of speech and these people just to save viewers. Because he's a really smart guy, but the stuff he's saying is fucking mental. Like he said about Leo Varadkar, that he's not even Irish, he should be driving a bus here or something. Now, I think Leo Varadkar is a cunt, but he's fucking Irish. His mum is Irish. He's fucking lived here. He's went to school here. Like, I still think he's a cunt, but I don't agree with what John Waters was saying.
I know, look, those people that are into the
But I'm like, are these being paid to say this shit?
Agents.
You know, for this fucking hate speech to come in and go, there you go, John, there's your 200 G's, and there you go, John, a nice one. But we ban that now, and off we go.
Do you know what, though? I would agree with you only for I've personally had to deal with people that have no interest in running for power, that are Irish, that have those kind of opinions,
right?
That like, oh, your name's not O'Brien, you're not really Irish, or your name's not O'Connell, or fucking, I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Because I think that a lot of people do believe in an ethno-state, in the sense that, like, if you're Irish, your great grandparents had to be Irish, even though Ireland is a mongrel nation of Vikings, Saxons, the French, Spanish people landing here in Galway coast. You know what I mean? Us emigrating, coming back with American wives, with Australian wives, husbands, and
2% Mongolian.
You know what I mean? So there is no such thing as an ethno-state in any country, because we're all mixed up and we've been travelling for thousands of years. As far as like Gemma O'Doherty and these people, like I said, I don't think we should shut them down. I think they should be allowed on social media. They should be allowed to say whatever they want to say, so that we can critique them and say and challenge them then openly in the open forum. The more you shut them down, the more they can say, the powers that be are trying to shut us down. The powers that be are trying to silence us, and this and that. And it almost gives their word more value. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Like it's all just gone crazy. Politics in Ireland like is mad, and like you were saying earlier with the hate speech stuff, like for people my age and younger to be saying that like we agree with this hate speech law, it'll be you that's affected. You know, when a tweet or a Facebook post or an Instagram post
From
you made
11 years ago.
when you were 16 and you had a particular opinion because you're a fucking child.
Yeah.
Is brought up when you're 40 trying to run for election, and they say, well, look what this person thinks, or what they thought back in the day. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? And it's like, where are we going with this? Do you
What was
know?
your woman's name that plays for the American soccer team? Raffinfo or something? Is that her name?
Oh,
She's
Raffo,
like
yeah,
that woke.
yeah.
They
Raffo.
pulled a tweet from her from 11 years ago that she said their eyes were slinty or Asian, or it's like, for fuck's
The
sake.
Kevin Hart thing as well.
For
Do you know what I
fuck's
mean?
sake, relax the fuck. And Caitlyn Jenner's getting fucking dragged across the coals for fucking slating the Minister for Health over there to do it, that dresses up as a bird. Do you know your man?
But
looks like a dude, but it's a bird.
This is what I'm saying, right? Is that like on the left, they don't really know what they want. Do you know what I mean? Because like they can't even agree with themselves. They can't.
It just eats itself.
Yeah.
When
you
you're
know what
so
I mean?
woke like that, it just all eats
I'm
itself.
more woke than you
Yeah.
are. You know what I mean? Oh, everyone wants to take a step further at being more woke. You know what I mean? But I think the most woke thing is when you just have your own opinion. It doesn't matter if that means you hate gay people. Do you know what I mean? Like, okay, cool. Can you like have a discussion and tell me why you think this? Because there is no like when you have that open dialogue with Gemma O'Doherty. Like, okay, but like why is Islam less? Like I think they're all bullshit, all religions. But why is Christianity somehow less bullshit than Islam?
Yeah.
They can't really explain it to you because it's all mumbo jumbo. Do you know what I mean? And that's, as I said, that's why I think that we shouldn't silence them, because the more you can actually have an open dialogue, they'll talk themselves into being wrong or being shown that they're wrong. Do you know what I mean?
Right, Dennis, we're going to wrap this fucker up.
Wrap it up.
Yep.
That's it.
Give Dennis a follow. I'll put him on Instagram here. And
Watch the fight when it comes up.
watch the fight when it comes up. And we've just baptised Dennis into the sea swimming this morning.
That's it.
Yep.
Hopefully a few more. Deadly stuff. Yeah, we covered a bit more then than the last time anyway.
We fucking did, didn't we?
Yeah.